Whether by increased competition, poaching, or mysterious natural causes, many unique and fascinating animals have gone extinct, but science now has the power to bring them back from beyond the evolutionary grave. Just how and why humans aim to resurrect certain species is the subject we are here for today, so be sure to continue watching as we take a look at some crazy extinct species of which scientists are trying to bring back to our planet. Number 10. Tasmanian Tiger. The Tasmanian tiger roamed the earth about 4 million years ago. The last known live animal was captured in 1933 in Tasmania. It was officially declared extinct in 1982. They once lived in Australia and the surrounding islands, but a drying climate and loss of vegetation pushed them off mainland Australia 3,000 years ago. The last few were hunted to extinction on the island of Tasmania. In 2017, scientists sequenced the Tasmanian tiger's genome, meaning they discovered the strings of letters that made up their DNA. While the Tasmanian tiger's intact DNA is a great step forward for de-extinction, DNA isn't the only thing that shapes an individual. A resurrected Tasmanian tiger or any other species will never be raised by a true member of its species, and thus never learn certain behaviors. However, it is possible that scientists may try to bring this animal back to Earth. Number 9. The woolly mammoth. Climate change and humans drove the woolly mammoth to extinction about 4,000 years ago, and now humans want to bring mammoths back to fight climate change. Wait, what? That's right, some scientists think woolly mammoths will save the Arctic from itself because beneath the Arctic's permafrost is a ton of carbon. And since climate change makes permafrost not so perma, that carbon is about to be released into the atmosphere as a greenhouse gas. In theory, bringing mammoths back to the tundra would reduce the trees, increase the grass, and thus lessen the amount of heat being absorbed. But anyway, let us know in the comments section what you all think about possibly bringing the woolly mammoth back to life. That could be crazy. Number 8. Northern white rhino. So this one is a bit different as a white rhino isn't necessarily extinct. However, only 2 of these animals remain on the planet today, making them the rarest animal on Earth, but scientists are already talking about resurrecting it. Neither of the 2 that are left are healthy enough to actually have a baby, but they do have eggs that scientists hope to extract. The eggs, combined with DNA from other frozen northern white rhino cells, could be put in a surrogate mother, a southern white rhino. But as easy as extracting eggs sounds, it's actually quite difficult. Also, scientists might be able to turn their skin cells into egg cells, which has been done successfully with mouse cells. Number 7. The Dodo Bird. No animal is more associated with the word extinct than the deer dodo bird. The bird was wiped out just 75 years after Dutch sailors landed at its home island, off the coast of Africa. People brought invasive species to the island, which, combined with hunting, drove the animal to extinction. Some scientists want to bring the dodo back in an effort of de-extinction. To do this, they could use methods similar to how scientists cloned Dolly the sheep in the 1990s. But cloning the sheep wasn't easy, and with an extinct animal, it would be even harder. Number 6. The Arachis. Once a common subject of cave art, the giant and wild cow-like Arach hasn't roamed Europe in a few centuries. While a handful of Arachis were domesticated to make cows, the rest were hunted to extinction. The Arachis were officially deemed extinct in 1627, so it's safe to say that these things have been gone for a while now. One method scientists are using to try and bring back animals from extinction is selective breeding. Since Arach's DNA lives on its cattle descendants, a bit in this breed and another piece in that breed, some people are trying to remake an Arach from these relatives. They're breeding the cows with Arach qualities to make an animal resembling their ancestor. Interesting, we'll see how that one works out. Number 5. The Irish elk. The Irish elk was the largest deer ever. At its shoulder, it was 7 feet tall, and its antlers were 12 feet wide. They lived all across Europe until about 7,000 years ago, when the last one passed away. Thousands of years later, in the 1800s, its bones were used to prove extinction is actually real. When scientists talk about resurrecting an extinct animal through backbreeding or gene editing, they don't mean an exact copy of the animal will be alive again. With these methods, the resulting animal would be a hybrid of the extinct species and its living relative. It would have qualities of both species. Honestly, I don't know what scientists are thinking by wanting to bring this thing back. I'd be scared of the Irish elk for sure. Number 4. The Pyranine Ibex. The Pyranine Ibex is a wild mountain goat and subspecies of the Spanish ibex, which used to live in the Pyrenees Mountains that separate France from Spain. As with many of these species, it was hunted to extinction. The last Pyranine Ibex died in 2000, not that long ago, but then again in 2003. Wait, what? Well, this animal was actually the first to ever be brought back from extinction for 10 minutes. Using the dolly cloning method, researchers implanted Pyranine Ibex DNA into a hybrid goat/Spanish ibex. She gave birth to a Pyranine Ibex, but the newborn only lived for a few minutes because her lungs were deformed. She was the only one of 57 eggs to actually make it to birth, but this is definitely incredible and proves that we can in fact recreate and possibly bring animals back to life. Number 3. The Great Auk. These penguin-like birds lived on and around islands in the North Atlantic. They were expert swimmers, but were awkward on land and thus vulnerable to humans who again hunted them to extinction. The last great auk egg was crushed under the boot of a fisherman as he grabbed its mother and father, snatching the species from the planet. So, would we be able to clone the great auk back to its existence? Well, the cloning process has worked with animals like Dolly the sheep, dogs, and even twin monkeys just recently, but it is very rarely actually successful. Scientists interested in de-extinction are looking into other methods to resurrect extinct animals. Number 2. The Quagga. The quagga looks like a zebra that lost half of its stripes. They once lived in South Africa until they were hunted to extinction. Is this story getting repetitive yet? However, DNA evidence suggests that the quagga was actually a subspecies of the zebra, so a group of people in South Africa started selectively breeding the zebra to get these unique stripes back. While the heck cattle don't particularly look like Arachis, the animals from the Quagga project look remarkably like the old quagga. So, did they bring the animal back from the dead? It's hard to say if the new quaggas behave like their extinct lookalikes, so the animals have been given the name Rao quagga. Very interesting to say the least. Number 1. Stellar sea cow. At 3 times the size of its relative, the manatee, stellar sea cow was huge. And while manatees enjoy the tropical waters of Florida, the giant loved the cold waters of the Arctic and kelp forest in the Pacific. But just 27 years after being discovered by humans, the sea cows disappeared. It was either hunted to extinction or lost its food source because the keystone sea otters were overexploited. Some think the sea cow disappeared after many sea otters were killed. Otters are a keystone species. Without them, there's almost no kelp for the sea cows to eat. Sea otters have since grown in numbers, bringing back the kelp, but other habitats of extinct animals have not bounced back yet. So, where would these resurrected animals go? So, what did you guys think of 10 extinct animals scientists are ready to bring back? Did it excite you or maybe scare you? Let me know down in the comments, and make sure to drop a like and subscribe while you're at it, but that's all for now.